and I know he will lead us in another great year here in town. Mayor Fernando?
Thank you all for coming out today, and thanks to the committee for all the great work that they have done. Sorry about the feedback. The MLK Day of Service has grown larger and larger each year. Thanks to the hard work of the committee, and we appreciate it very much. But you know, it's not just getting larger for larger's sake. It's allowing all of you to do a lot more service. And I'm here really on behalf of the entire town council. Ed Meinhardt, thank you. Sean Klein, Michael Vieira, I see our Al Anthony, and our freeholder, Pat Seabold. So I speak really on behalf of all of them. And as I said, it's really, you know, getting larger is more about just being able to provide more service. So those of you that may remember Rabbi Prince, he was a spiritual leader of Temple B'nai Abraham in New York and later in Livingston, and was very active in the area of social justice, both nationally and internationally. He brought Dr. King to the congregation back in 1963. And Rabbi Prince said back then, neighbor is not a geographic term, it's a moral concept. It means our collective responsibility for the preservation of man's dignity and integrity. So thank you to all the volunteers for embracing this philosophy, for being here and making a difference in so many people's lives. Neighbors that you will never meet, but that will have a significant impact on your lives. So thank you all for being here, and thank you for coming out today.
So next up, I would like to invite another distinguished member of our local government, our Board of Education President, Ronnie Connor, who has been a member of our committee for many years and now shares the position as committee liaison with Board of Education member Pam Charles. Ronnie?
Thank you. On behalf of the Livingston Board of Education, Buddy August, Pam Charles, who's here today, Seth Cohn, who's also here, Sam Messer, and myself, I'd like to welcome you to the MLK Junior Day of Service and Reflection. We are here to honor the legacy of Dr. King and to heed his teachings when he said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? Our children look to their role models to influence who they will become as adults. My role models included my rabbi, Rabbi Samuel Cohn, who actively participated in civil rights marches, and my own experience as a 15-year-old as part of a teen tour in the South during the summer of 1964, when freedom workers trying to register African American voters were abducted and murdered that same summer. We must together all fight for equal rights for all. We must educate our children to respect all, regardless of our differences. We must value the volunteers who are here today. You make a difference. As Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. The time is always right to do what is right. The time is now.
As the passage of time affects us all, we grow and we look back at what made us, or what brought us to the point we're at today. We've been very fortunate with great liaisons in the past, both on the Board of Education and the Town Council. Our Board of Education liaison, George Shen, has stepped down from the Board of Ed and is now currently a member of the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion as a private citizen. So George, who's right back there, George, do I just come up to say hey? We just wanted to thank you for your years of service and just acknowledge you for all you've done for us. With that, we welcome Pam and Ronnie to be our new partners with the Board of Education, and we look forward to working with you both closer than ever before for a great year of 2020. On the Township Council end, we have our liaison for many years, Councilman Ed Meinhardt, who just before him was actually Councilman Sean Klein, another great liaison, who has served diligently, attending several meetings, all of our events, and really has given us a voice on the council in representing the Livingston people. So thank you all for what you do. Ed and Sean, if you just want to raise your hands for everyone to see. I think everyone knows you, but thank you for your work. And we would also like to welcome our new town council liaison, Michael Vieira, who's going to come up and say a few words. So Michael, he's someone who's fought for the diversity committee before even joining.
Thank you, Billy. Isn't this a great event? It really is. You know, my time on the council, I've always talked about volunteerism. And you know what? Today is Dr. Martin Luther King Day. It's not a day off. It's really a day on. And being a day on and having people and children and our youth come here to volunteer to do something well, you know, my family, I have my entire family here volunteering today. That's what we need. We need more volunteerism. And you know, just as I was thinking about what I should say, I decided I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to let Dr. Martin Luther King's words say it for myself. And a couple of quotes that he said is, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter." So just, you know what, as we progress and continue to celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King, just let's celebrate volunteerism in our community. Thank you.
We thank you, Mike Vieira. He's a special guy. All the people in the town council is special. And I'm glad him to be our liaison. And I'll still come to the meeting, but he's the best. And thank you.
So before we move on to the section of the program where we hear from our distinguished speakers, Brian O'Shea and Steve Delman, who will be speaking about MLK and also some of the famous speeches which he recited, as well as Rabbi Prince. We're also going to invite Councilman Vieira back one more time to speak on behalf of another representative, Senator Cory Booker, who sends his apologies and wishes he could attend today, but wrote a nice letter.
Thank you, Billy, and thank you, Keith. I'm honored to read this letter. The letter is dated January 20th, 2020. It's to the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion. Dear friends, it's an honor to extend my warmest greetings to you, gathered to observe and commemorate Martin Luther King Day. Years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee, where Dr. King was tragically assassinated. Overwhelmed with emotion, I approached the entrance of the motel to reflect on the memorial plaque in front of me, inscribed with the timeless quote from the scripture that I will never forget. They said one to another, "Behold, here cometh the dreamer. Let us slay him, and we shall see what we will become in his dreams." As we enter into the new year and consider Dr. King's legacy, let us also reflect on that tribute to Dr. King's dream and the call for us to take up the mantle he left behind. There is still plenty of work to be done if we are truly willing to obtain equality and justice for all people. Just as Dr. King worked tirelessly to raise up those opposed by the weight of injustice, we must also commit ourselves to uplifting our communities. We must work toward providing economic opportunities to improve job growth and financial security, securing freedom for the countless individuals caught up in an unjust system, and pursuing love in a society rife with hostility and fear. In the course of addressing these challenges, it is certain that we will encounter difficulties and setbacks. Yet I know if we summon the same strength and resolve demonstrated by those who came before us, There is no obstacle we cannot overcome. May we find renewed spirit and zeal, selflessly dedicate our lives to the advancement of those most in need. And despite the headwinds of our time, may we find the fellowship and understanding required of us to scale the mountaintop and reach the promised land. Sincerely, Cory A. Booker, United States Senator.
Now I have the honor of welcoming Steve Bellman, who right behind me, and Brian O'Shea. Many of you have heard Brian O'Shea at past MLK Day celebrations, but Steve is a new addition. So please give them your attention as they spread the good word of Dr. Martin Luther King and Rabbi Prince.
Thank you, Billy. It's an honor to be invited here this morning. One of the highlights of Dr. King's illustrious career was his role, August 28, 1963, at the March on Washington. The morning started with President Kennedy inviting many civil rights leaders to the White House. Along with them, Rabbi Heschel and Rabbi Prince, who were two of the catalysts of the civil rights movement. They then moved to the Lincoln Memorial, and the program started with words of love, praise, and support, songs of love, praise, and support from Joan Baez, Bob Dylan, Peter, Paul and Mary, Odetta, Marian Anderson, and Mahalia Jackson. Then Rabbi Prince stepped to the microphone right before Dr. King. I speak to you as an American Jew. As Americans, we share the profound concern of millions of people about the shame and disgrace and inequity and injustice which make a mockery of the great American idea. As Jews, we bring to this great demonstration, in which thousands of us proudly participate, a twofold experience. One of the spirit and one of our history. In the realm of our spirit, our fathers taught us as thousands of young years ago that when God created man, he created him as everybody's neighbor. Neighbor is not a geographical term. It is a moral concept. It means our collective responsibility for the preservation of every man's dignity and integrity. From our Jewish historic experience of 3,500 years, we say, our ancient history began with slavery and the yearning for freedom. During the Middle Ages, my people lived for 1,000 years in the ghettos of Europe. Our modern history begins with the proclamation of emancipation. It is for these reasons that not merely sympathy and compassion for the black people of America that motivates us. It is above all and beyond all such sympathies and emotions, a sense of complete identification and solidarity born of our painful historic experience. When I was the rabbi of the Jewish community in Berlin under the Hitler regime, I learned many things. The most important thing I learned under those tragic circumstances was that bigotry and hatred are not the most urgent problem. The most urgent, the most disgraceful, and the most shameful tragic problem is silence. The great people, which created a great civilization, and became a nation of silent onlookers. They remained silent in the face of hate, in the face of brutality, in the face of mass murder. And America must not become a nation of onlookers. America must not remain silent. Not merely black America, but all of America. It must speak up and act, from the president down to the humblest of us. And not for the sake of the Negro, not for the sake of the black community, but for the sake, for the image, the idea, the aspiration of America itself. Our children, yours, mine, and every school across the land, each morning pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands. They, the children, speak fervently and innocently of this land as a land of liberty and justice for all. The time, I believe, has come to work together, for it is not enough to hope together, and it is not enough to pray together. To work together that this children's oath, pronounced every morning from Maine to California, from north to south, may be a glorious, unshakable reality in a morally renewed and united America.
How you all doing today? It's another cold day, like it was last year. I've been here in the past. I guess I'll give you the I Have a Dream speech. That, up until August 28, 1963, the civil rights movement was considered local or sectarian or southern only. And with this speech on Washington, it was moved to a national level. And within a year of that speech, there would be civil rights legislation passed, particularly in remembrance of President Kennedy, who was at the forefront with Dr. King. And without any further delay, we'll try to go into that speech. Well, I say to you today, my friends, that in spite of the difficulties and frustrations of the moment, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at a table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a desert state, sweltering with the heat of injustice and oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but on the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, the state of Alabama, whose governor's lips are presently dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, will one day be transformed into a situation where little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls and walk together as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of God shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith with which I return to the southward. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of a mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children will be able to sing with a new meaning. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to become a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous peaks of California. But not only that, Let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and every molehill of Mississippi. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. When we let freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands in singing the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God the Almighty, we are free at last.
In the 12 years I've been doing this, every year Brian just keeps the same amazing energy. There's the phrase, taking words to heart, and he truly does so, as he did that completely from his mind and his heart, not having any written remarks in front of him, just reciting Dr. King's words. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Brian. Now, earlier, our Council, Board of Education, and freeholder, Pat Siebold, were all introduced. But I would also like to welcome Roseland Councilwoman and the liaison for our township to the Essex County Executive, Eileen Fishman, who's here with us today. Eileen, thank you for joining us. And this is going to be the hardest part of the program for me. It's the part where the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, our township, and myself say goodbye to a longtime public servant, a truly caring and gentle man, and just family to me, Keith Hines. After 22 years serving on the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, and after retiring once before, and being asked back to do it all over again, Keith Hines has truly just been there for Livingston. He gives his money, his time. One time, I actually was proving a point to someone about Keith, and said that Keith would give you the post office badge, watch. And I went up to Keith and I was like, blah, 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 it's cold. Do you mind giving them your jacket? And he already started unzipping before he even, responded. And that's the kind of person I think Keith Hines is. It's the end of an era when you have a good person move on from a great position. But he'll always be with us, and he'll keep coming back. But I'd like to give this opportunity to Keith to say his goodbyes, and then we're going to present Keith with a few goodbye gifts. So Keith.
Thank you, everyone. It's been a good ride this whole 22 years of service. I take Livingston to my heart, to my soul. I take Livingston to my soul. Everything we've done, I love this town. And how it really started when we were doing, I kept forgetting. We're doing what's the kind of ceremony. And Billy, I taught him a lot of things to do. He has come up with a fantastic person. So I'm not really leaving the committee. I'm just stepping down as co-chair, but I'll still be here. And I think, again, it's a wonderful community. I think every one of you guys are special to my heart. And I got years to come. I ain't going nowhere. I'll be right here. Before I leave, I have something for you. Now, we have something for you. This is for Billy Fine, for the great things he's done. Wimmer, you're fired. Because Mike Wimmer was gonna want to do the printout for our agenda. But now, he don't have to do no more. Because Billy Fine got his own printer. So he can print his own agenda out. So it's time one thing I say that I am thankful and I bless you guys for helping me in my health conditions, you know, but you guys embrace me and it really touched my heart. So I thank you once again for listening to everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you, kids.
So funny story, our little program with Who's Speaking One, I didn't get to print, and this morning I was trying to print it in the library, the printer wasn't working, and I called Pastor Dan up and he printed it. So now I don't have to worry about that, thank you. But, good gift. So now I would like to invite Malik Patel, who is a member of the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, and also a member of the Livingston Lions Club, who has a gift on behalf of the entire Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion. There you go.
Can I invite Kamlesh Patel and Nisha to be over here with us? I am pleased and honored to be part of this committee. I was grappling for words as to what to say for each for all the work he has done for the community for the last 25 plus years. All I can say is three things. He is a man of the street for everybody. He is a person of action. Three things that he can teach us: compassion, sympathy, and inclusiveness. I can't say anything else. He has done more than, and he has demonstrated by his work. On behalf of everybody from the township and from the community, we would like to thank him for an official graduation and be on the beach. On behalf of Livingston Lions, I would like to have Kamlesh and Nisha present the token. Thank you.
On behalf of Lions Club of Livingston, myself as the president and Nisha Patel as the vice president, we are short of words of what we see this committee or the entire group is doing. I would say it has opened our eyes to take this to multiple cities. So we would really like if anybody would like to join us and have this taken up to other towns, because what you guys are doing for the diversity and inclusion is absolutely amazing and absolutely wonderful message for, I would say, for the nation. I mean, I have visited quite some smaller and large cities. I have not seen like this. So allow me to say that's all. I would like to present the film for Lions Club to, as in having Mr. Keith as one of our honorary members here on board. We welcome you to that, and we welcome you as an honorary. Thank you.
I was in synagogue, a few days ago, and they had Martin Luther King Shabbat. And anyway, one of the most important forces that Martin Luther King was a professor was love. Love was his absolutely most powerful tool to get people together. Sometimes it might take this in a little context, but the line would like to use have the best vision in the world, and have vision screening, and check your eyes. Online, we'd love you to stop by over here and see if we can help you with your eyes a little bit, and at least, get some information about that. But it so impressed me that, it was that Shabbat, and that was the most important thing in his life, was love. He wrote some kind of, wrote some words in that, and I'm not like the one I don't follow. It was so impressive to me to hear that sermon. Thank you very much.
Now, before I introduce our keynote speaker for the evening, I would like to present a couple of gifts for Keith as well. So first up, we're going to do this one, if you'd like to unwrap it. Now, as Keith's retiring and enjoying his life, and as a tech man himself with probably about 5 or 6 cell phones, I figured why not get him some Bluetooth headphones that can rest very comfortably on his neck. That way he could listen to his music, his police scanner, the weather, or whatever he wants to in comfort. I also got Keith this right here. This is for all the naps that Keith is going to take. For all the naps. And for charging all of his phones. This is an alarm clock with a wireless charger for his phone. So, really quick before I introduce our next speaker, I just wanted to acknowledge our county surrogate who just arrived, Altariq Kenny. Hey Altariq, thanks for coming. We're very happy to have you and your entire family here today. So, next up I have right here, as a 34 member of Montclair Fire Department and the first African-American fire chief in Montclair, this political science degree major from Rider College, who is a member of the Montclair Planning Board for 14 years and the Board of Adjustments for 3 years, a former Livingston resident, a longtime friend, and a fellow classmate of my own mother, Maxine Fine, Kevin Allen, who is coming back to Livingston today to speak about many topics that I think really symbolize what we do here in Livingston, and also what our whole mission here in remembering Dr. King is. So Kevin, if you could join us here at the podium, that'll be wonderful.
It's great to be back. I met Keith at the Gulf Station. I'm sure everybody saw him down there. I've got a couple of stories to tell you about. First of all, I want to thank the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion for inviting me, and for Billy for inviting me. Very gracious. I'm going to begin with, I was born 1 month after Brown v. Board. And in Montclair, we started busing in 1965. I was there the first day busing started. I was in the 6th grade, and they bused the all-white kids down to our school, which was all black. There was a big discussion about it during the summer. There was a lot of tension. I was a crossing guard, so I was out there crossing the kids into the school. I went in, took my badge off, I went outside. In the back, all the white kids were at the top. I happened to be with them. All the black kids at the bottom, and we ran up and started wrestling around and everything. The bell hit. Everybody got up and went to school. We all became friends. We all had the same classes. As a matter of fact, I'm here today because of that, because Maxine Fine is from Montclair. We're friends to this day. So that worked out pretty well. Also, in 1966, Dr. Martin Luther King came to Montclair. My reverend at Union Baptist Church was from Patterson, and when Martin Luther King was a boy, he used to come up and visit relatives, and he became friendly with our reverend. And he was retiring, so he came to Montclair and gave a speech at our church and at high school. So A lot of our ministers and most of the adult members in my family got to meet him. We were left at home, the children, something we reminded our parents about every day when we were growing up. The third thing I want to talk about is I was invited here today. I understand Sheila Oliver couldn't make it and Cory couldn't make it, Cory Booker. I met Cory Booker. I'm a retired fire chief. And Cory Booker actually pulled a lady out of a fire in Newark and saved her life. And we went down as a group and gave him the fire chief's helmet. And of course, everybody there was saying I was his cousin for some reason. I don't know why. So, a little bit more about my experience when I joined the Montclair Fire Department in 1980. I was the sixth African American to join the fire department. Now that sounds a bit odd because it is Montclair and we're supposed to be known for integration. My first day on the job, my captain told me to go in the kitchen and turn the gravy off. I went in the kitchen and I didn't see any gravy, I just saw tomato sauce on the stove. In my house, the gravy's brown. So that was the beginning of my education on the fire department. Over the years, we would take tests, and the thing that I had learned growing up when we had Martin Luther King at our church, and we had our integration at schools, was that you can do anything you want to do. There's no hold, you don't want to hold yourself back. Now, there had never been an African-American fire chief in Montclair, but it honestly never occurred to me that I couldn't be the chief of the fire department. So, I just did my job. I helped where I could. I joined the union, and lo and behold, anyway, I'd just like to thank you for inviting me, and I hope I hope that you enjoyed what the things I had to say, and I look forward to seeing you in the future. Thank you.
Gotta bring the mic down a little bit. All right, so for our last speaker of this afternoon, I've had the honor to both work with him in various capacities, one of which is being a juror down in Newark. But my friend Al Tariq Kenny would like to just share a few words. He has his beautiful kids who are welcome to come up with him if they don't want to leave aside. But Al Tariq.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let's say this again because I know this is Livingston. Good afternoon, everyone. I know you guys are louder than this. First, I wanted to thank Billy for extending the invitation to myself, to my family, to join you in this tremendous day. 51 years ago, we lost Dr. King to a tragedy that had nothing to do with his moral convictions, but had more to do with the morality of the country at the time. Could you imagine a person saying that this room shouldn't exist, saying that diversity is not important to this country, to intentionally say that half of this country should not participate in these sort of community events where if you're a different color, then you have a different level of opportunities. And so sorry, that's Elijah. Sorry. And so today is just a reminder of what sacrifice means. Just think about this for a second. Dr. King died at the age of 39 years old. He started in the movement at the age of 26. And so for 13 years, he committed his life to ensure that equality, whether it was economic or social justice, was something that we all could participate in. To make sure that the country lived up to the Constitution that it practiced. To make sure that people in this room are able to talk with each other without seeing the differences, but seeing our commonality. To see that we're all human, regardless of what race that we
we're in, whatever our ethnicity is, whether what language we speak, where we came from and how we got here, we're all in the same human family. And so today is just a reminder that we have a lot that we've accomplished, but we also have a lot further to go. As long as Dr. King talked about poverty in his campaign against the poor in Tennessee, when he talked about the movement to make sure sanitation workers were paid the right wages, and there's an attack on unions. When he also talked about that we have people who live in slums while we live in warm houses, that the work of Dr. King is always in front of us. And so as we celebrate today, we should always be, one, thankful for the accomplishments of those three little black girls that died in the church 14 days after the March on Washington. But we should also be reminded about the number of people that died to make sure today happened, to make sure that we're able to talk with each other, fellowship with each other just for one day if that's today, or to live amongst one another without the barriers of race getting in the way. And so to Dr. King, thank you for your commitment, for sacrificing your life, to know that his last speech, he recognized that his life was coming to an end, but the work that he led was going to transcend generations unborn. And so to you, thank you for participating, and thank you, Billy, for the invitation, but really to the children who are learning about today, who didn't hear Dr. King personally, who didn't know who he was, and to learn who he is and the individuals who died and who's still alive, to make today possible. Continue to teach them, continue to make sure that they learn, make sure that that history doesn't go away but is always everlasting. And hopefully it will inspire this entire room of young people to do something greater than themselves, to commit themselves to public service, to make sure that our country, that our nation, that our world is much better than the way they inherited it. So thank you, Billy, for this conversation. Thank you. This is Yasmin. Say Yasmin, hello. She's learning Fitzy for the first time, so she's a little shy. This is Elijah. And this is my lovely wife, Jaren. And who's also happens to be a senior executive at LinkedIn, but most importantly, she's a former president of National Sales Network and made the choice to marry somebody maybe not be as what she expected, but she's maybe better than what she found me as.
So it's safe to say all of our speakers today just were terrific examples of what we're all here for. I'd like to close out by thanking all of the Livingston residents who came here today and gave their day off to make it the day on. I'd like to thank all of our elected officials, the Livingston Committee for Diversity and Inclusion, all of our members. If you just want to raise your hands really quick so people can see the hard work that you've done. You too, Bill. There you go. We're currently the largest committee in Livingston, and it's thanks to the hard work of all these people. Thank you to our Livingston Police Department, the command staff, the community policing unit, Livingston Fire Department, who we had Assistant Chief Kevin Granzio earlier today. Go Fire Department, there you go, that's your shout out, Kevin. All of the best people here today are Kevin's. We also have Detective Kevin Mulaney. But anyway, so I'd also like to thank Public Works and just say this is what we show up for. We'll have food at 1 p.m. out in Craft Room 2 again with Blaze Pizza. And then 1:30 we'll have a march around the inside of the building where it's nice and warm, where Pastor Dan will lead us with some words, and then we shall sing, we shall overcome together. So thank you for coming out to our 2020 Day of Service, and we will see you next time.